Hello and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager 7 stream. My name is Adam. I'm the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, and not pictured on your screen, is FHM producer Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey, everybody.
And we are back with a brand new stream. It lives, the 1978 Cincinnati Stingers WHA season historical mode alternate universe. Well, it's not really alternate universe yet,
Not
Jeff.
yet. No, what?
What-
Well,
What's the
sort of, because
plans?
the Indianapolis Racers aren't going to die in the middle of the season, and they'll hang on to
Well,
Gretzky for
that's
a
true.
while. But what we're going to
That's true.
do is, in this game, we are not going to let the WHA shut down, and I'll show you how we're going to do that in a second. But we'll keep the WHA. There'll be no merger. There won't be any Edmonton, Winnipeg, Quebec, and Hartford going to the NHL at the end of this season. They're going to stay in the WHA, as well as Cincinnati, who we're playing in Indianapolis and Birmingham, are going to stay alive. So the WHA will stay intact. We may add a few teams back to it over time, because I think we're going to
We
try and get through a
absolutely
few
will.
seasons in this. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I wanted
And
Jeff to add a team right now, but he's like,
no,
no.
there's a reason I don't want to do that, and we were just talking about that a second ago. I'll explain in a bit. But here, just to show you what I'm going to do here, I actually don't really have to do this until the very end of the season, but I'll do it now so I won't forget. I'm going into the
Because that would
historical,
be bad.
yeah, going into the historical editing or the manager options, historical editing, my editing options. And what I'm going to do is to get this set up the way we want to. Team deactivation. If I had that off, teams would stop playing when they did historically. And if you get to a season where a team is in the games database and it checks the historical database and they're not there, it'll take them out. So if I left that turned on, even if I had left the WHA active when I got to the next season, WHA would have no teams in it in the historical files, so everything would get shut down, which wouldn't make much sense and wouldn't make much much of a game. So we are turning that off. Also turning team activation on or team activation off just for the time being, because we want. Actually, no, we're going to have to leave that off for the duration of the game. We're going to have to handle any expansions manually, because leaving that on, we'll check the historical files at the beginning of every new season, and if there's a team in the league that in those files and that isn't in the game currently, it would add them. So if I left that turned on, when we get to the start of next season, July 1st, 1979, in addition to the Edmonton and the other three WHA teams that went into the NHL, still being active in the WHA, we'd also get them showing up in the NHL, which was not what we want.
Wait. So we'd have two teams of Winnipeg Jets. Jeff, this sounds amazing. Why are we not doing this?
That's precisely why, Adam.
Come on. That sounds
Having one Winnipeg Jets is borderline questionable. Two of them, forget it.
Oh, come on. It's not like it's the Vancouver Canucks who don't deserve to be
Yeah.
there.
Okay. The other thing that we got to do is obviously league deactivation has to be turned off. Otherwise, that would kill the WHA at the end of the season. League activation, I can leave that on. The only thing league activation being on does in historical, in all that affects, is if you're playing if you start a game in 1971 or earlier, in 1972 the WHA will appear, unless you've got that turned off, in which case they never show up. Roster rules, we can leave that checked because we don't have the WHA rules, since there's nothing in the database for them after this season. It'll just stay static, and we can always edit that later. Game rules, that can stay the same. Game engine settings, might as well leave it at this level for now. Or leave that on for now. That'll update the NHL ones. I may want to go in manually and change those each season, just so the WHA doesn't sort of get perpetually stuck in the late 70s environment, although that could be kind of fun. Contract settings, yeah, that's fine the way it is. And I'm definitely leaving that on. I could break a few things if we turn it off, I suspect. Update team names. Let me think.
We don't want we want New England to turn into Hartford.
No, they won't, because they're not.
They won't.
The NHL
So we'll have to
will never
manually.
appear. But no, I want to leave that on because otherwise, New Jersey won't become, or Colorado won't become New Jersey when they actually did. Anything else I can think of?
Well, that means we could have the New Jersey Knights, right?
You could expand to that, but I think we'll just leave the NHL change as they did, with the exceptions of the WHA teams. I'm just trying to think, though, if I do anything, if I leave that on, is that going to break anything? No, I don't think it will. I think we'll be okay.
And hello
that
to
on.
JT Dutch and Gudu in the chat.
Yeah. And if I have update league names on, the only thing that affects it all, the only leagues that changed names historically are the old Pacific Coast Hockey Association becoming West, the WCHA, and then the PCH. Or now I'm going backwards there. PCHA becoming WCHA, WCHL, which is back in the 20s and 30s. So that affects nothing here. So I'll just leave it on. Doesn't matter. Other than that, I think I can leave it alone. We got pushed back to the start of, the very start of the season, July 1st, because they started with historical editing on. What Adam was saying, there's a little bit of a quirk here. We theoretically, if you look at the Free Agent Center, could, we could sign 17-year-olds, which is the WHA was doing this season, but
as Gretzky was 17.
As you can see from the Oilers, the Indianapolis Racers having both Gretzky and Messier. So they've signed them 17-year-olds. I've actually, there wasn't any WHA draft from, I think it was 1978 on. What I've done in the game is set up something called the I think it's in the, oh no, we won't get that until next year, the WHA Underage Signing. So what that does is run sort of a pseudo draft every year and lets them take guys who are, I think the minimum age is set to 17. So it will every year in the game, it will allow us to select one, or if we can possibly more if we trade for other picks, but every team gets one pick of a 17-year-old. And I did a little bit of testing beforehand on this, and generally about half of those guys wind up signing with the team. So the pattern you tend to see is guys like, if I run a decade or so forward, you'll see guys like Gretzky and Messier coming in with the WHA, playing 2-3 years till their contract runs out. 3 years generally, and then they sign with an NHL team. Well, sometimes.
What?
Because the NHL teams will generally be able to spend a little bit more. Let's see, anything else we need to worry about before getting started? Just quickly go over the team, and that's actually why some of those 17-year-olds are signable right now. I'm not going to do it because it's kind of cheating. Whoops, I'm looking at the wrong team here.
But it's the good kind of cheating this time.
Yeah, it's just sort of an unavoidable artifact of the way the draft and the historical editing sets things up this year.
This is legal loopholing. It's not like, say, getting fired and taking the team back over.
Yeah. So it's
not that anybody has ever done that.
Yeah. Looking at the team, it's actually the real Stingers finished, I think it was fifth out of, the league started the season with 7 teams. Indianapolis went out of business mid-season, and they finished with 6 teams. 5 of them made the playoffs. There was a play-in round at the beginning, and Cincinnati just made it in. They were in 5th place overall, and lost to, I think it was the Oilers, could be wrong, in the very first round. And that was the last games the Cincinnati Stingers ever played in the WHA. There was actually, Cincinnati did get a team back the following season in the AHL. It was Toronto. Was it? No, it might have been a couple of years later. But they had Toronto's farm team for a while. But that was the end of Cincinnati as part of the upper levels of professional hockey.
I think both them and Birmingham got teams pretty cool, like the next year.
Birmingham got one immediately. They were the Flames farm team the next season. So I remember Paul Henderson playing a little bit for them. But I don't think Cincinnati got one quite right away. But anyhow, looking at this team, it's actually one of the teams I want. One of the reasons I wanted to play with them. It's actually a pretty good team to build with for the future. In goal, they've got Mike Liu, who a few years down the road was good enough to give Gretzky a run for the Hart Trophy. I think it was 81-82 or 82. No, it was 81-82, I think. And Michel Dion, also a pretty good goalie for Pittsburgh and Quebec. So we've got really two goalies who are starter caliber for the WHA. We may want to trade Dion for something like a defenseman because you can see we're kind of thin on D. It's basically guys whose careers were winding down. Our best defenseman, Craig Norwich. I can go to his real stats, show you there. He played a little bit after this, had one good season for the Jets, their first team, first year in the league. And then you can see he had a couple of years, the next season, put up a bunch of points with St. Louis and Colorado, but the guy had some pretty serious defensive weaknesses. So a great offensive defenseman, didn't play much defense to speak of. So despite the fact that he's going to put up some points for us, you can see the offensive rating 15 there, and defense is only 12. He's going to, we'll still probably use him on the power play, give him a bunch of playing time this year, but he may not be viable in the long run. And other than that, good old Barry Melrose there. So in his third season in the league, I think, so a little bit of potential there. JT Dutch Stingers lost to New England in the 79 playoffs, first round. Thanks. Let's see, a few other guys. Rick Dudley, future NHL coach, starting to slip a little bit, but still a productive player. Robbie Fatorek, another NHL coach, is the star of the team. 5 stars. I think he led the league in assists this season, so one of the top players in the WHA. Good to have very young Mike Gartner, 18 years old, in his rookie season, and 5-star potential. We're going to try desperately to hang on to him. We've got him for 3 years, and we'll try to keep him longer than that. Hislop and Marsh had a couple of good seasons, at least in the NHL. Hislop with Quebec, and Peter Marsh, Winnipeg, and I can't remember. The Hawks, I want to say. Yeah, I think Winnipeg traded him into Chicago. Or am I thinking of
Okay, I looked this up here really quick. Cincinnati Stingers played in the 1979-1980 CHL season before becoming the Cincinnati Tigers in 81-82.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
So there was 1 year without, and then they were gone for a while.
And anybody else interesting here? Oh, Paul Stewart, former referee Paul Stewart. Fun guy to have in the league. And you can see 241 minutes and 241 penalty minutes in 40 games previous season. So you kind of get an idea of what he's here for.
To learn how to ref.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
Anybody else? A couple of Gordie Clark, longtime minor leaguer in the Boston system. Bill Gilligan, who went over to, I think it was in Austria for a few years. Played pretty well there. Byron Shutt, I think that's Steve Shutt's younger brother. Daryl Maggs, who was briefly with the Leafs when they were doing weird things with their roster under Punch Imlach. Anyone else that's significant? Don't think so.
I'm glad you justified that with Punch Imlach, because weird things with the Leafs, was about.
Well, that's the point it started with. And yeah, Barry Melrose, super average, thanks. So we'll keep him around, see how he develops. But I think first thing to do is let's just theoretically see what we can get for Dion. Shop him around, and we'll see what offers we get back. Only one surprise. Wow. No interest at all? Huh. Wonder if it's a big salary. He is at, that's 180, pretty good salary for the league. I'll have to, well, wait until we're a little closer to the start of the regular season, see if something changes in training camp. And now, just even though we're not going to sign any the super young guys, 17-year-olds, does not mean we can't sign other free agents. So what we do need is, wait, go back and look at the list. Definitely need a little defensive depth. Couple of defensemen, maybe a center and a right wing. So we got at least one spare forward at each position. And we're only dressing 17 players right now. So we'll only have 2 on the third line. So we don't need quite as
JT
many as we would
Dutch,
normally.
notice in the chat that most players seem to be on 3-year deals. Any particular reason?
Yeah, I think we changed that because a lot of them were going to. We were getting too many guys leaving as free agents at the end of the first season. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look up what the logic of that was. I can't remember exactly why we did it that way. There was a reason, though.
I think that was it.
Yeah, it was something like that. But why did I specifically do it for 3 years? Can't remember offhand. Because it would make a little bit of sense to have a few of them on shorter, so it's not everybody going out at the same time. I think part of it was for the guys on entry level contracts. I think maybe we did that the wrong way. I'll have to take a look at that. Doesn't seem quite right to me. But anyhow, let's get our free agent defenseman first. And you can see we did fix the bug in the most recent update. If you didn't get the hot fix we put out, was it yesterday? Days are all blending together at this point.
Yes, I think it was yesterday.
You won't crash now if you click on the reset button.
I mean, it's not like it happened when we were streaming or anything.
No. Somebody actually beat it to us. I went back and looked after we were streaming, and somebody had pointed it out and read it. So if I'd gone in there and read that before we streamed, I would have known it. But
another question in the chat, Dosh asks, is there a way to tell if the save file is in challenge mode?
Yeah, if you're in challenge mode, the easiest way to check it, if you can't click on commissioner mode here in the manager options, you're in challenge mode. If you can click on commissioner mode, or if it's already turned on, you're not in challenge mode. Okay, so defensemen, a couple of them. Whoops, I undid the filter. Might as well use the drop-down one. So let's see, we got Bill Nyrup, who I think he had retired for a season in real life here, so I think it's fair to try and grab him. He came back a couple of years later and played, I think it was with Minnesota briefly before retiring for good. But fair game, we can grab him here. And he wants a reasonable contract, so we may get other teams competing for him too. And one more defenseman. Let's see, Pekka Rautakalio had gone back to Finland for a while after having a couple of good seasons with the old Phoenix team in WHA, and then came back in the early 80s with Calgary and did pretty well with them. He's the only other, Mats Waltin, longtime Swedish national team guy who never came over to to North America. He's there, but who else? Jean Bernier, Poul Papil, Ken Morrow, who's in college. Just at this point, I'll leave him alone. I think I'm going to grab Rautakalio. Another guy who's sort of offense first, and 12, nice cheap deal. And what did I say? A center and a right wing, I think. And I should probably grab a third string goalie just in case of emergencies, and if we trade Dion. Ken Holland's available. Could grab him. A couple of European veterans. I think I got Veltman overrated. I got to tone him down a little bit in the database. Oh, whoops, didn't have that sorted right.
You are looking only at scouted guys too, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cheating because I rated all these guys, so I know how they are, but I think I'm going to grab Jim Park, who I also don't think he should be on a roster at this point. I got to check it out. Old magazine from 78 with the...
Why don't you sign Bob Janicek? I believe we've had him in streams before. He's 21.
Yeah, 3-star potential. That would make sense. I should be sorting by potential here, if I come to think of these guys. Steve Baker, future Rangers goalie for a couple of years, would be another one. He's one star already. I think I'm going to sign Baker.
Sign both of them. Have 4 goalies. Never a bad thing.
I think Baker was still at Boston College at this point. Yeah, sure, why not? Sign Janusek too. Because I am going to try to sign, or try to trade Dion. I know that already. Let's see, centers. I'm going to leave the guys in the U.S. Olympic team alone to Mark Pavlich, who sadly just passed away in the last week or two.
That.
But let's see, Matty Hagman, who's gone back to Finland, I think, for a year at this point, before the Oilers, or did the Oilers sign him near the end of the season? And then a few NHL veterans who are kind of on the way out here. Ron Schock, who's done with Pittsburgh. Fred Stanfield. Mikko Leininen, who's pretty good for the Rangers for, I think, about 2 seasons in around 82 or 83. Yeah, not much else. Let's try for Hagman first. He's the obvious one to grab.
I was going to say, since we're playing in kind of this generation, did you see Blues, former Blues, Bobby Plager died?
Yeah, I just that was just today too.
Car accident?
Oh, it was a car accident, wasn't it? Actually, he was an older guy too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. Now, let's see, Anders Kalur, who would come over to the Rangers the following season, or the Islanders rather, the following season when I was with them for the Cup-winning teams. I'm going to actually take Lou Morrison, Manitoba guy from Flin Flon, junior teammate of Bobby Clark, just because I know he's a really good penalty killer. It'll be a good thing to have for the lower lines. And do I want one more forward?
You guys are we dressing right now, by the way? 17?
17, yeah. I know we've already got Stewart. Let's just see. We can find another tough guy. Oh, there we go. We got a young Chris Nyland. Goldie Goldthorpe, the guy that Ogie Oglethorpe was based on. I think we got to sign him, right?
I don't know.
Just as a, insurance.
Quote unquote. I think we had him in another stream we did.
Did we? I don't think we used him much if we did. Okay,
Vancouver, maybe?
Might have been.
I don't know. I feel like we had him signed for something.
And I've still got, just if you're wondering what these numbers are showing up here, I've got the game in debug mode, just in case we run into any problems. I've got these, got this stuff as a reference.
Did you put an offer in on Ernie Hickey?
No. He was done in real life at this point, so I think I'll leave that alone. Let's see, Quebec and Whalers making a trade. Am I missing a GM for Winnipeg in this season? I think it should be Ferguson, shouldn't it? I'll have to check the database on that. Might have to fix that. I am going to put Dion on the trading block.
Let me think here. No, he was the GM of the Rangers at that time.
Right, yeah. So who was the Jets GM? Okay, so I think we got everybody. Yeah, we got Nyrup. He was the big one. Baker. So what are we looking like depth-wise now? Oh, we haven't got
Okay,
any response from Hagman yet. That's the one guy we're waiting on.
this is kind of a weird one because it was
There we
Rudy
go.
Pilas to start the year
Say again?
and then moved to John Ferguson in November.
Oh, Rudy. Okay, so yeah, I probably have to check Pilos' record to. I may have done something wrong there. He might have the wrong number. Start the season. Okay. Oh, again, there we go. We get a offer for Dion, but it's not very good. John Gibson, who had a little cup of coffee with the LA Kings in real life. But no, I got no interest in that. That's a terrible offer. Oh, scouting. It's historical, so we don't need quite as many scouts. We should be okay with the ones we've got there. Oh, that's weird. Why did it
Oh,
generate?
wait a second.
It's okay.
Hold
It's
on a
only
second
got
here.
generating American scouts for us. I got to hire some Canadians. I got to look at the way it's doing that fill in. Kind of cheating because I'm hiring David Conte and Barry Fraser and all the Chuck Grillo guys who will be great scouts in a few years. Okay, picked up 4 Canadian scouts and good ones, so should be looking a little better here. Let me assign them. Oh, we need to, wait, I should be, yeah, okay, got to assign them, so if Conte is the advanced scout and Fraser is, oh, actually, no, I want one of the American ones. Grillo will be the advanced scout. And should grab a Western European scouts, Western European scout, because an Eastern one won't really matter at this point. Maybe a couple of them. Whoops. Western, not Eastern. Okay, 1 Swedish and 1 Finnish. And that's probably good enough for now. Priority list. I think we'll be okay with the defaults, just because the historical player pool is a lot thinner than the regular game one is. And
Yes.
so everybody will get looked at. We won't have to worry about too much about not having enough scouting depth to get everybody examined. And I'll set training when we're at the start of the next season.
Sounds like a good plan.
What was that?
I said, sounds like a good plan.
Rapidly moving through. Okay, there we got another offer. Okay, that one's a little better. Dennis Sobc, who's a good WHA player, big junior scorer too, but he's still only 1 star. He's kind of, yeah, he declined early. Only 23 points in 36 games the previous season, so he's kind of done at this point too. We'll just leave that alone too. Ah, there we go. There's the one we want. Bentak Gustafsson for Dion. So future Capitals first, second liner.
Who?
Bentak Gustafsson.
I'm going to say again, who?
Was
That's a name I do not know.
Yep,
Right.
pretty good Capital for when the Capitals were really bad. It was the same. It was actually he'll be doing what he did for
That is
them.
quite the name.
here
And
because he'll be the number 2 winger behind Gartner, which is exactly the job he had with the Capitals. So I am going to make that trade. Got him. We got our 3 goalies. If anybody gets hurt, I'll have to sign a third one, but Baker will be the backup to Liut, but I want Liut starting the vast majority of the games this year. Oh, I should set up tactics at this point too. And it's the WHA, so we're going to open things up a little bit and start playing a lot more aggressively. And I think the rest of that's fine. Let's see, I'm going to take the breakout through center because I think we've got a lot of center depth and they'll be able to move the puck a little better. Dump it in, no, not. Just keep it simple for 70s hockey, stay in your lanes. Offensive zone attacking. No, we got our centers are kind of smaller, so I don't want to focus on the slot or crash the net. 1-2-1-1's a little too exotic. Or the 2-3, I think. Forechecking. Try 3 back. Neutral zone. Yeah, stick with the 1-1-3 there as well. Consistent. Power play breakout. I don't want the drop pass. Again, go through the center like with the like we're doing at even strength. Offensive zone attacking. Umbrella, I think, yeah, and take the middle ground on power play defense. Shorthanded forecheck. Go with the retreating box. I think that's more historically accurate. Shorthanded defensive zone coverage. Go with the basic box and shorthanded attack. Hang on to the puck and kill time. Okay, I think that's everything set there. Could get into a little more detail and do overrides, but I think I'm just going to leave that alone for now. Line matchups can go with the defaults. Let the AI pick the roles and see if it does anything weird. And I'm just going to see what kind of a lineup it gives us with the default AI choices before we get to the start of the regular start of the preseason. Let's see. Reasonable choices for the defenseman. And yeah, it looks like the right guys are sitting out. What to do with the lines? You can see there's the empty spot on the third line because we only have 17 players.
Ooh. Lots of playing time for some guys.
Yeah. Okay, tactics. I see one thing there. We don't want Stewart just being an agitator. All out goon. That makes more sense. As he's there to fight, and that's about it. And yeah, actually, this looks pretty good. Oh, Norwich is a two-way defenseman. Well, that's a little surprising. Gave that to him. Don't want that. He's a guy that's got to be getting involved offensively. Yeah. He's actually rated 14 at quarterback. I don't know why it
So,
gave him that role.
Jeff, I've been meaning to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel about the Vancouver Canucks last game?
You have to ask about that. No,
I do.
at least we're back to getting into a better playoff spot now.
You mean for next year or what?
Yeah, I mean we were
Uh-oh.
screwing it up for a while. Can't be winning all these games.
Well, yes. It's not. Do you think they're going to make a bunch of moves at the deadline?
If we can find somebody stupid enough to take Louis Eriksson's contract.
I don't know if that's possible.
Seems unlikely.
Unless they take somebody's worse back.
Yeah.
Although I did see Sportsnet had possibly the worst trade I've ever seen posted. While you continue to do that, I'm going to go find that because I read the trade and I'm like, if Winnipeg does this, I would actually be infuriated. Yeah.
Apparently, Eichel's up for grabs, eh? Supposedly the asking price is 4 first-round picks.
That's the minimum they should ask.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of first-round picks are we talking about here? Like, if it's 25th overall, eh? Oh, and we need to pick captains now.
All right, here we go. Here was the trade. Jets receive Ryan Ellis. Nashville gets Cole Perfetti, Matthew Perreault, and a 2022 third-round pick.
No, I mean, if I were you guys, I wouldn't mind getting Ellis.
Yeah, not giving up Cole Perfetti, though.
Let's see. Gardner is too young. Hagman's only 23. Dudley makes sense as another assistant. And
oh, wait, I missed this. Bo Horvat's back tonight, Jeff.
oh, good. And I'm going to make Melrose the other assistant captain. Scouting update.
Probably telling you all the guys you should have signed.
Yeah, a few of them. Brian Propp is out there. Ray Bork. Okay, into preseason. No, I should set the training up. Start of this. Liute, I want all the goalie training. Oops. Helps if I'm clicking on the right guy. Yeah, the goalie training all focused on Liute. And I'm just looking for guys who've got some room to improve here. Gartner. Yeah, it's still doing that thing where it moves the list down when you click on it. Shouldn't be doing that. Gartner, Gustafsson. And I want to try and keep that bonus number at least above 10.
Why is that, Jeff? I know I've asked you that before, but if someone's just tuning in for the first time, why do you want to keep it above 10?
That's after you get below 10. It's kind of arbitrary, but that's where I like to put it at. You tend to get less of an effect.
Oh, that doesn't sound arbitrary. That sounds important.
I mean, it's it's a sliding scale. That's about as far as down as I'm willing to go.
So essentially, the higher number, the more focused the training will be.
Yep. With the training bonus that you get from having the coaches work with you.
Yes.
Really, there's only 3-4 guys that we're going to want to focus on here. I don't normally do it this way, but there's just not a lot of undeveloped potential on this team. It's probably going to be that way until we get some draft picks, or at least one draft pick or free agents after the end of this season. And nobody is really headed downhill at this point. I'll see if I can squeeze a little bit more out of Fatorek. Because I do have bonus points here. You see it's still at 19, so...
Okay, who did Fatorek coach?
Rangers and Kings.
Rangers. Okay.
And wait, no, not the Rangers, Devils. Devils and Kings.
Devil. Oh, right. Devil. He was one of the guys who got fired by Lamoriello.
Yep.
Like at a weird time, was it not?
Yeah, like super early in the season. Or no, it was he was the one that got it like really late in the season.
I don't know. It was a weird time, I think, if I remember right.
Okay, 12 is, I actually won't take it down below 12. 12, 12, 12. Okay, there we go. And how are we doing on time? It's already quarter two. Let's get through the exhibition season fairly quickly. And you can see I did download one of the mods and got the update and got the real logos and jerseys. You can find those in our mods forum.
JT Dutch says Fatorek was fired at the end of the regular season with the Devils having the best record in the NHL.
Yeah. That's a Lou move.
Well, they won the Stanley Cup that year, I think, right?
Yep.
So.
And Radicalio out for just a single game, looks like. No big deal. And we lose the first couple of exhibition games. Nothing to be alarmed at yet, I don't think.
Put the other goalie in. Oh, wait, you traded him.
Well, I mean, I still have another goalie. Give Baker a game against the Birmingham Bulls.
Great name.
And it's a 6-3 win.
Even though it wasn't unique because they stole it, or kept it. But still a great name.
Stole it from where?
Well, the logo is the Toronto Toros logo.
Oh, right. Yeah, they borrowed that. Yeah. Okay. Pretty good. Wow. Nice development actually during training camp from several guys. I think some of those one-star guys may have crept up to 1.5. Ooh, Dudley declining. That's not good news. And Mags and Morrison as well. Anything look like it's changed for lower level guys? Don't think so. Take Stewart out for a game to a shut.
Now, Jeff, you were talking about mods as you continue to look through.
Mm-hmm.
In the latest update, you enabled the ability for a new mod to be created.
Yep.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
I can quickly just play this one out so you can see what we're looking at. Oh, that's weird. I put used the wrong logo for the center ice. Wonder where that is. Oh, that's not. I didn't put it in the other folder. What we've added the ability to do, and I've hide that for a second, is the ability to mod the little player icons. So instead of just having the little block with the number in the center, you can, well, pretty much anything you can come up with. I haven't been watching the mod forum, but I've seen a couple of screenshots posted in the main one. People have been putting in player icons.
The first one I saw was a skate, which looked really nice.
Oh,
and I've seen.
I'm just going to sim to the end of this because I just wanted to show you that one screen to.
Yeah, and then the second one was actually players, and then I believe the same person is working on players, but from an overhead perspective as well. So it's new, exciting things, and you should check it. Yeah, so you check out our forums, which is ootpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner. Or if you own the game, if you start FHM along the bottom, you'll see an option for forums, which will open up your preferred web page and take you directly there.
Ouch, 8-4 loss to the Jets. Morris Lukowich with 4 goals. Kent Nielsen, 5 points. Are we
Nice.
at the end of exhibition season yet? Don't think so. Oh, no, that wasn't. Got the Oilers up next, so we can send some of these extra guys down to the farm, which is the Erie Blades. I think that's the Eastern League. I think they were still around for one more year at this point. Keep 7 defensemen up. Seven defensemen, keep a couple extra forwards around. I think it's going to be Clark and Stewart.
JT Dutch coming here, rubbing your face in it, saying the Jets went on to win the Avco Cup in '79. It wasn't even me, Jeff.
Yeah.
They were a really good team.
Yep.
Having
it was kind of Hall's last good year, I think.
Wasn't he hurt most of this year?
Whoa,
it was more the influx of the Houston Arrows.
I gotta check a couple of these. Rolls.
Just check here. Pulling up his stats. Bobby Hull in 78-79 played 4 games, Jeff.
That was it? Yeah. No. Are you looking at 79-80?
No, 78-79, because that's what season this is.
He must have got hurt early in the year. I can't remember that.
He had four games, had 5 points. In 79-80, he played 18 games and had 10 points.
Yeah, I can look it up.
Before the Jets kind of basically retired.
Oh yeah, he got hurt, so he would get hurt in this season. We won't actually, but that won't happen here.
Played 9 games, got 7 points with Hartford in 79-80 before he retired, and then made one last comeback attempt with the Rangers that didn't work.
Yep, Bobby Hull Jr. was in camp with them that year too. Neither one of them made the team. But if you do start in 81, you do get Hull in on the Rangers roster. Not a very good one at that point, though. Okay, season preview. Do we get anybody mentioned? Nope, not at all. But I still think we got a chance to finish at least in the middle of the pack this year. And this is going to be, we're trying for kind of a long-term game here and get hopefully a decade or so in, because it'll be interesting to see what the WHA looks like playing through the 80s. That Stingers mod logo doesn't, I guess, work so well with the dark background in the game. I wonder if I should change, I'll maybe manually update that lettering to white for next time. And season opener, we win 3-2 in overtime, because the WHA had overtime. Pretty good performance from Mike Liut in goal. Fatorek gets the first star. And yeah, this is the pre-Gretzky Oilers. You can see a few of the guys from the 80s teams there. Callaghan, Hunter, Dave Semenko, Stan Weir, B.J. McDonald, but, and Silderland, yeah.
Yeah, JT Dutch points out I had to go do a quick look, and apparently Hull was traded to New England and then retired to care for his partner after she was in an automobile accident.
And we've got Bobby Hull tonight against Winnipeg. and we lose 5-4. Doesn't look like he did much, though. Yep. Well, actually, 94 defensive game rating, so he didn't do anything offensively, but he shut us down.
Probably because you were all looking at his hairpiece.
It was fascinating to look at. Does he still wear one? I haven't seen a picture of him in years.
I haven't seen him in a while.
And another win over the Oilers, 4-3. Fatorek gets a couple of goals. Well, it's looking like we're competitive this year. Going to give Steve Baker a start against New England. Ouch. Well, it wouldn't have mattered if we had the Adley in, but it's a 7-0 loss. Gordie Howe gets 4 points. Mark Howe gets 4 points.
Strong start.
For them, yeah. And Richard Brodeur in Quebec, and we come up with a 3-2 win. So we're getting some narrow wins, but...
I mean, Gordie's only, 50 at this point, so...
49, I think.
My bad.
Now we got an injured player. Oh, we got a couple injured players. Well, Gordie Clark, wasn't in the lineup. And Rich Thomas, tight groin. We'll just drop shut in for him. And another shot at Quebec. Wait, why was Stewart on the first line there? We got a 3-2 win. I got to fix those lines.
You win and you want to fix the lines? That seems like a mistake.
Yeah, no, I should have Rick Dudley on the top line. I mean, we're winning, but we can do better. We're just barely winning.
You say that, but I bet you we lose the next game after you switch the lines.
Well, it's against New England, who blew us out 7-0, so that's not. It wouldn't be a huge shock to lose this, but let's see what happens. Well, we lost, but it was only 4-3. And Byron Shutt, who just went into the lineup for the injured Thomas, had a couple of assists and second star.
Excuses.
So I think we've got those 2 losses and the one, I think, in the opener, but we're 4-3 to start the season. And another good development report. Only one minor leaguer headed downhill. And a lot of pluses. That's nice. Okay, try sitting Stewart. Put Thomas back in. That makes sense. Is Norwich getting used on the power play? Yes, he is. That's good. And Birmingham, who was the only team that finished behind us in the real WHA that season. 5-3 win for us. And Rick Dudley on the first line gets 3 points. So as predicted, I think we're pretty much right in the middle of the pack so far. Indianapolis with Gretzky, although Gretzky doesn't seem to have done a lot of scoring yet, but they're leading the league. Board confidence, and they seem reasonably happy. Let's just double check the job security screen. Oh yeah, just fine. Fans are pretty happy. Job security is way up in the blue, so we're not getting fired anytime soon. And New England again. Third try at these guys. And third loss. 6-4 this time. Johnny McKenzie, former Boston Bruin, getting the first star. And against Indianapolis and Gretzky, I'm going to give Baker the start. Ouch, 7-3 win. Gretzky puts up 6 points. Not bad for a 17-year-old. Yeah, it shot us pretty badly, too. And you hate to see it when the guy the team playing against you gets one of the headlines the next day.
Oops.
And up against the Jets next. 6-1 loss. Okay, we're starting to slip a little bit here. Shutt goes out. And Stewart goes in. Get a little more toughness in there. And no, I don't want to change any of the defensemen yet. Yeah, leave that as it is. Oh, great, New England again. Oh, 5-3 win. Finally beat New England. Love those Whalers jerseys from this era, like the end of the WHA. The NHL ones were nice too, but I always liked the WHA ones better.
They're nice, but I like the logo from the NHL better.
And we got a short shoulder on Craig Norwich. Just swap him with Chuck Luxa for a couple of games. And Gretzky with another 4-assist game against Quebec this time. So I suspect if I check the league leaders, he's going to be in there now. Wow, there's a 80 score in the 70s, 7-6. Rick Dudley gets 4 points, but we lose. Yeah, Gretzky climbing up the scoring leaders. I think he had 110 points this season.
That's a few.
Another shot at the Whalers. Can we get back to 500? No, we can't. 4-2 loss. Despite a couple of goals from Matty Hagman. And Jets up immediately after that, who beat us 5-2. Okay, we're kind of sliding at this point. And now Dave Duvall, ouch, hyperextended knee, 2 or 3 weeks gone. Take him out, and I think I'll try putting Gordie Clark in. What does that do with our lines? What is the fascination with putting Stewart on that first line? No, I do not want that. Oh, and Gardner gets pushed way down too. Norwich is almost healthy again at least, so that'll add a little more offense to us. And we got the Gretzky-less Oilers against our old goalie Michel Dion, who beats us 5-1. Oh, running a little past the hour here. I'm going to play one more game.
Hey, fine.
It's Birmingham, so we should be able to win this one. Okay, Retta Kellio has a minor injury, but though his fitness is way, way down, so I don't want to play him at 55%. Everything else looks about right. Yeah, try Gustafsson in the middle. Swap Stewart and Thomas. But other than that, Birmingham and should be able to win this, but who knows? 6-2 win. Okay, there we go. There's a good note to wind it up on. So we're going to take a quick look at our stats through our first, what is it, 17 games? A little under a quarter of the season. Working for the final update, just mention a little preview. We're going to, I think, be adding some more advanced stats. Like the second screen of it, and trying to get stuff like zone starts and a couple other things in there.
Isn't there already a second screen of it?
Not here. There's some of them are showing already on the individual player screens for the single season, but
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. But okay, yeah, I mean, Fatorek off to a nice start. Dudley doing pretty well too for a guy that was starting to slip. Gardner okay for his rookie
Advanced stats
season.
showing up 30 years before they actually did,
Yeah.
too.
Or, like 90 years if you go back right to the beginning, or 100.
Well, I mean, 1978 is
Yeah.
all I meant. No, we're not going back further than that, Jeff.
In this game, at least. Thinking about it, we haven't really done it. Did we ever done 1917 start? Should do that one of these times.
A 1917 start.
Yeah.
I feel like we did. No, I don't think we have. Trying to think, but I don't think we have. Yeah, it'd be definitely something to think about.
Fatorek, 40 penalty minutes. We got to maybe look at his individual settings and turn those down a little bit. I don't know why he's so aggressive.
Because he's Robbie Fatorek.
Yeah. He didn't fight that much in real life, though.
Oh, but he did get penalties.
And quick look at game ratings. Yeah, it's nice. Some of their free agent guys signees are near the top. Anybody struggling? Yeah, the older guys, Mags, Morris, and Stewart. Oh, Barry Melrose not doing particularly well. And let's see what's happening quickly in the WHA. The Jets way out in front. Lukowicz, Lindstrom, and Nielsen leading the league. Gretzky just a little behind them in scoring. Quebec kind of struggling. And what's going on in the NHL? Oh, the Islanders 14-1-3. I think I mentioned this before. I think I've got to tone those guys down a little bit. They're good, but a little too good in historical games in this era.
I mean, they only went to 4 Stanley Cups.
Yeah, but they should lose a little more than once every 18 games.
Oh no.
And Montreal, doing similarly well. It's more a matter of needing to tune the other teams up a bit. Bruins, how the Canucks. So Canucks, first year with the Star Wars jerseys. Oh, that mod doesn't have very good logos. I think I got to copy the originals back in. But, what was this? This is sort of that first year with Star Wars jerseys, and they're not doing too well. Yeah. Okay, I think we can wind it up there. Go ahead, Adam.
All right, so thank you very much for tuning in to another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. We typically stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/OOTP Developments. All of our streams are archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OOTP Developments as well. You can also reach out to us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Franchise Hockey Manager. On Twitter, we're at Franchise Hockey. We can also find a link to our official Discord in our Twitter bio. Of course, you can come on to our official website, which we mentioned before, which is ootpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner, which you can come talk about Franchise Hockey Manager 7, Out of the Park Baseball 22, Perfect Team, Out of the Park Go, or anything else you want to discuss. Jeff, did I miss anything?
Yeah, with Out of the Park, just mentioning that, they're out this week. I think are they in their beta?
They are in their beta now, yes. Open beta.
Full release at the end of the week, is it? 26th, I think?
I believe so, yes.
A couple more days, so if you're looking forward to the baseball game, it's almost here. Let's see, what else? And as I was saying, working on the next and what'll probably be the final update for FHM 8. It'll be the one with the post-trading deadline rosters, so it will be out sometime mid-late April-ish, and we're looking, we got a few things on the list. We actually, with the update, the hotfix the other day to fix the crash problem with that filter setting, we had already put in one of the, I can't really show you it here because we don't have a playable farm team, but the option to control your farm team's lines completely is in now. That snuck into that hotfix update because we had put it in already for the final update, and it was easier just to leave it in there than taking it out. So that is available now. If you're playing like a standard game, you can control all of your farm team's lines now, if you so desire. But
excellent.
I think we will leave it off there, and we will be back next week with Adam's San Jose games. Are we at the start of the season in that one yet?
We are. We finished our draft, expansion draft, and what we did for free agents. So we'll recap a little bit what happened and then move on to the 2021-2022 season.
Sounds good. So if you'll be here next week, that's the game we'll be playing then. So thanks for coming out, and we will see you a week from now.